Hello everyone, this is Cameron from Blind Soda, and today on Bethesda Banter, we're going to be analysing the Fallout 4 trailer. So, we're just basically going to be going scene by scene, and just trying to work out what Bethesda's trying to tell us.
But the cry, and nobody's crying but me. Friends all over know I'm trying to forget about how much I
Now, there's not too much of importance in this room, but I just want you guys to remember the parents, like what they look like, because they will be arriving later in the trailer.
But the dreaming, poor little dreams that keep trying to come true.
The dog heads towards a gate, and we see the people heading towards the same gate that we can only assume to be the way to the vault.
And I can't get over.
In this scene, where the sun's blinding us, we can see that we're looking up, which means that, you know, the vault is a vertical opening. It's on an elevator system, which is cool. We've never seen that before. Now here, this building, this is called the Bunker Hill Monument, and it just proves that this game will be taking place in Boston, so all of those theories have been confirmed. Now, this is really cool. This looks to have been the USS Constitution, and it looks to have been converted into an airship with the thrusters. And, you know, it's not in water, it's on top of some buildings, so it must be able to fly, or must have been able to fly at some point. Now, this scene here is pretty cool. So we have the very 1950s gangster guy approaching us in a trench coat, which kind of makes the area look a little bit like a slum, a little bit seedy. To the left, we have the memory den, which we can only assume to be a bar or a casino or something. Now, the thing that interests me the most about this is the amount of light and the amount of electricity, which we don't see in many Fallout games. So we can only assume that to be because the Institute is in the area, in the Commonwealth. So perhaps we're going to see a lot more technology and a lot more lights. It's going to be a lot less of a dark game, which isn't bad, you know. I don't think it'll make too much of a difference with the lighting, but yeah, it'll be good to see some more technology in our game. We're met by a power station that looks to have been converted into a farmhouse. Now, why is it a farmhouse, not just a normal house? Well, if you zoom into the man in front of the house, it's kind of hard to see him, but, you know, we'll just zoom in for you now. He looks to be plowing some crops, and there's a Brahmin. Even though it's got packs on it, it looks to be, like, quite a farmy animal. We're met by two figures. Now, upon first glance for me, these look like two men, whether they're Brotherhood of Steel in power armor. But if you look at the guy on the right, his movement is a lot more, not fluent, perhaps more fluent than someone in power armor, but also quite sluggish, which I would think to be a mutant, a super mutant. So, most obvious theory is that, you know, they're just two super mutants. But one that could also come into account is that it's a super mutant working with someone in power armor. Although that's very less likely, the guy on the left does look like a Brotherhood of Steel soldier. Okay. So now, in this next scene, we have a Securitron walking towards the camera. Now, the most interesting thing is the skyscraper behind it. A large spire-like building on the right, kind of centered but more to the right. Large spire looks to be a point of interest in a few shots, so perhaps this is the base for the before-mentioned institute. We find ourselves in a beach. Now, in the middle of the screen, in the foreground, looks to be like a mutated crab or like a new take on the Mirelurk. So, it might be a new animal, or it might just be a new artistic take, because this game seems to be doing that a lot. But, now for those of you with a keen eye, you would have noticed the small structures on top of the bridge. And if we just zoom in on the triangular one on the right, we can see that it has light bulbs on it, which means that someone's living there, and this will probably be a point of interest in the game. Now, this scene I really like. We've got a highly irradiated area, sorry about that, with irradiated water and downed power lines. So, and of course, what looks to be a new artistic take on the Deathclaw, which I really like. So this is just a really cool, really dark, kind of scary scene. So, from there, we find a vertibird landing at an overgrown, like, military comms center. So, whether that's Enclave or not, it's kind of cool to see some more technology in our game. Now here, this scene has been a point of debate, because upon first inspection for me, it just looks like, hey, you know, a shopping center full of feral ghouls, we've seen that before. But these ghouls look different, and a lot of people think that they can't be ghouls because their eyes are yellow. So, whether it's just a new artistic take, like a lot of the things in the game, or whether, you know, this is something else affected by radiation, we will see, you know, when the game comes out. So now, we're met by a large building opening. You know, we're kind of left to assume that this is a baseball field that's been turned into a town or a base or something. This is just kind of proven by, to the right, if we zoom in a little bit, there's a baseball statue out the front. And the most interesting thing about this that I want everyone to keep their eye on is in the middle of the door is a diamond-shaped emblem. So that could just be the emblem of a town or emblem of a guild, but we'll find out soon. Okay, so we find ourselves being crossed by an iBot that's going past a sign that says Swatter's baseball store. So we find ourselves to the right of a baseball bat, giant metal baseball bat full of nails, which we can only be left to assume to be a weapon store, or even more specifically a melee weapon store, although I don't think they're going to go that specific. Now this area looks to be inside the last building we saw, just because to the right, top right, we can see some stadium lights, and just to the right of the baseball bat, still on the left side of the screen, we see a diamond-shaped sign that says Diamond City Surplus. So, same logo, so we can assume to be in there, and I guess that names this area as Diamond City. So now we just have a little upwards view of a blimp or a zeppelin, and in front of it, in the foreground, is a statue of Paul Revere, and that is in front of a building with a revolutionary flag. So not really much there. I guess this is kind of just showing that, you know, more technology is going to be brought into play, more verticality. Paul Revere, more proof that this is going to be taking place in Boston or Massachusetts. So now we find ourselves to be looking from the player's view over the shoulder of a man in power armor, whether that's Brotherhood of Steel or just random power armor, I don't know. But you can see that next to his arm on the right side, is a small sign that says GNN, which for those of you that, you know, aren't huge Fallout fans, stands for Galaxy News Radio, which was a old radio station run by our main man 3Dog back in the Fallout 3 games. So hopefully we'll be seeing a little bit more of that, because I really miss his sweet voice. Okay, now we're just met by a little a pan over the Massachusetts State House, and in the distance we see the giant tower again, so that is definitely going to be a point of interest. Okay, so we see the dog approaching the opened vault, and then we flash back to the pre-war, or pre-bombs, and we can see a man in power armor to the right, he seems hunched, so perhaps like a minigun or something, and we have a vault security guard to the left with a laser rifle. So, if we just continue to the flash, you can see that in the foreground, to the right side, we see a man in a white shirt and a woman in a blue shirt with, like, high pants, and those are actually the parents from the first scenes of the game. So, as YouTuber Fudge Muppet states, this could set up for the fact that this whole pre-bomb bit is a prologue where you play as one of the three of the family as you try to make your way to the vault, and perhaps after making it you are cryogenically frozen. Now, this is 100% possible, as there is paperwork that has been, you know, allegedly leaked about Fallout 4 that states that your character is cryogenically frozen. So, we'll see how that comes into play.
And nobody's crying but me.
And now we just have a dog, or the dog, approaching a garage with a strung up power armor. Now this power armor seems to be modified. It's got like a new leg brace, it's got a one thicker arm. It seems to have been worked on a little bit, and to the left of him is a laser rifle up on a rack covered in tools, and a Vault Boy bobblehead just below that. And we can see leaning against the left side of the building is just a little hunting rifle. So if we just zoom in on that quickly, we can see that, you know, it's got a suppressor and a scope, which means that Fallout mods are coming back, baby, for our weapons, which is good. Now we're met by the dog's face and well, obviously the main character's arm, because of the Pip-Boy, and the Vault jumpsuit are padding it. And we see the character, or I guess the trailer's character. Hopefully there'll be customization still. Hopefully I'm not stuck with this guy, but, you know, this could just be a very basic character. They don't really show much of him, so yeah, customization should still be there. Now the interesting thing about this, if we fast forward the video a little bit until he lifts his rifle, is that we see that the rifle has a small box on the front of it, and a little yellow wire, which I didn't notice upon first inspection, but again, with the help of other YouTubers, they have come to the conclusion that this is actually a type of energy weapon, like a rifle frame that has had a laser rifle front, like the components, strapped to it. So hopefully this means that we have weapon building again, and that would be really useful, like the rocket launcher and the railroad spike gun. So here's hoping for that. So that's it for the trailer. I had a lot of fun making this. I would like to thank Fudge Muppet again, because his video helped me flesh out my own. And I'll put a link in the description if you want to see his take on this trailer. And I guess that's all for now, guys. So thanks for watching the first episode of Bethesda Banter, and I'll see you guys later.